Can you smell that? No, it's not orange or pine. It's the smell of cringe. Throughout its existence, humanity has come up with crazy ways to celebrate Christmas and New Year's Eve. Today, we'll talk about how they do it, or once did it, in different parts of the world. And believe me, some traditions can, to put it mildly, amaze. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and let's get started. In Catalan countries, for example in Andorra or northern Catalonia, there is a Christmas tradition called caganer. Translated literally, it means the one who defecates. Catalans carve wooden figures of people who squat and defecate. This is a rather colorful tradition, which is an example of folk satire. Ordinary peasants, officials, and even kings are depicted in the form of caganers. All people are equal, especially when they sit in a similar pose and produce valuable fertilizers for agriculture. Christmas is celebrated even in Japan, but since there are not so many Christians here, for the majority of the population, it's a family holiday, and Valentine's Day rolled into one. In the 1970s, the KFC company masterfully took advantage of the absence of a traditional Christmas dinner in Japan and turned fried chicken into a symbol of this holiday. The popularity of KFCs during Christmas is so serious that establishments generate 5% of their annual revenue during this time. Of course, the Japanese eat other foods during these days, such as white sponge cakes decorated with strawberries. But chicken is the true symbol of Japanese Christmas, bringing joy to everyone except the chickens themselves. In Sweden, for 40 years now, they've been building a large goat out of straw. It is the fairy tale companion of jultomten, their Santa Claus. But the tradition is not only in the fact that they build it, but primarily in the fact that every year they try to set it on fire. And despite the fact that setting a goat on fire can result in a large fine or even imprisonment, this does not stop anyone. The fire starters try to reach them in all sorts of ways. They dress up as Santa or try to hit it with flaming arrows. The tradition has become so popular that the goat has made it into the Guinness Book of Records. Sometimes residents argue whether the goat will remain whole and unharmed this year or whether it'll be burned again. They even bet on it, but the statistics are against the goats. Of the 76 goats created over time, the fire starters have managed to kill off 42. As for Santa Claus's reindeer, I also have an interesting fact about them. Adult male reindeer shed their antlers at the beginning of winter, but females do not. In fact, reindeer are the only species whose females also have antlers. This means that Santa Claus's sleigh is pulled by a pack of strong and independent women. In Greek folklore, there are characters like the Kalakansaros, small but very evil underground goblins. They're said to come to the surface and do all sorts of mischief during the 12 days of Christmas. To drive away these monsters, the house is fumigated with all sorts of herbs. And some people even burn smelly old shoes in the fireplace. The scariest part of the legend is that children born on one of the 12 days of Christmas can turn into Kalakansaros. The only way to avoid this is to set fire to the newborn's toenails. It's not known whether this really saved from the transformation, but there must have been a lot of burns. Poor people, they don't know that there is another way to protect themselves from Kalakansaros. All you have to do is become a sponsor of our channel. This will not only protect you from evil spirits, but also give you early access to our new videos. So click on the button under this video and learn more. In Venezuela, Christmas is celebrated cheerfully, loudly, but most importantly, at speed. People set off fireworks early in the morning to wake everyone up, then put on roller skates en masse and rush to church. The tradition of roller skating is believed to have originated in the southern hemisphere as a reaction to ice skating. It's become so popular that the streets of Caracas, the capital of Venezuela, are closed to cars on Christmas morning to keep people on roller skates safe. Norway still has strange traditions inspired by ancient superstitions. Many Norwegians hide their brooms and even broomsticks on Christmas Eve. According to an old legend, evil spirits and witches return to Earth on Christmas Eve to do their witchcraft, but if they have no transportation, they will do much less harm. In some parts of South Africa, Christmas is more like Halloween. They eat real insects, and there's no Christmas celebration without a large serving of deep-fried caterpillars. You can eat them raw, but then there's a good chance that dinner will simply run off the table. Many caterpillars are considered a delicacy in Africa, making them the perfect Christmas treat. In fact, caterpillars are quite nutritious. They contain more protein than fish or beef, but not everyone dares to check this fact. In Spain, there is a Christmas tradition of caring for an anthropomorphic piece of wood called El Tío de Nadal. For a month starting on December 8th, the Feast of the Immaculate Conception, children take care of such Pinocchio. On Christmas morning, the log is placed by the fireplace, children sing songs to it, beat it with a stick, and demand gifts. And it doesn't matter at all whether they get anything because the fate of El Til de Nadal is always the same. Sooner or later, it will go to its relatives in the fireplace. A rather creepy Christmas character in many European countries is Krampus. He is literally a devil covered in black fur, with hooves instead of toes, horns growing from his head, and a pointed tongue sticking out of his mouth. Not a very festive character, but he's loved no less than Santa Claus. In parts of Europe, St. Nicholas Day is celebrated on December 6th, and Krampus Night is on December 5th. This is when, according to folklore, this hairy demon appears. He carries a bundle of birch sticks and a large sack where he gathers naughty children, whom he then drowns, eats, or sends to hell. In fact, almost everywhere you look, there are similar characters. Sometimes it's Krampus, sometimes it's just the devil. And in Iceland, Christmas is ruled by the Yule cat, or Jólakötturinn, a giant black cat who roams the countryside during the holidays and devours anyone who doesn't have new clothes. What a strange fashion judgment from someone who doesn't even wear pants, don't you think? By the way, this demonic puss lives, as legends say, in the same cave as the cannibal Grýla, who kidnaps naughty children and makes them into a delicious stew. According to one version, the cat's legend was invented by farmers to scare their workers so they would finish their work before Christmas. But perhaps the cat really exists and is roaming the streets of Iceland right now, looking for someone to ask for their clothes. By the way, I'm sure I didn't collect all the crazy facts about Christmas and New Year in this video, so add the ones I missed in the comments. Where people don't celebrate Christmas, they still celebrate the New Year. For example, in the Roman Empire, it was celebrated quite bloody. During the Roman holidays, in honor of the god Janus, people practiced animal and even human sacrifices. Considering that the empire still collapsed, this didn't help much, but it must have looked spectacular. No less bloody was the Mayan celebration, in which the people held the ceremony of the new fire. For the Maya, the New Year symbolized the end of the 52-year calendar cycle, after which the sun could no longer rise. All lights in houses and temples were extinguished and old things were thrown away. During the ritual's culmination, a human was sacrificed as a gift to their gods. The priests lit a new fire in the victim's chest, after which this fire was carried to the homes by special messengers. The celebration ended with a feast, dancing, and barbecue. Fortunately, now there are no such traditions in any part of the world. Everything is much more simple and more heartfelt. A Christmas tree, gifts, and a delicious dinner. Although until recently, in some European traditions, festive dinners included mulled wine with the addition of poisonous herbs. This was done in order to exorcise spirits, but sometimes it ended in poisoning, which often happens when, surprise, surprise, you consume poison. For many, Christmas and New Year are inextricably linked to watching holiday movies, but few people know what price Hollywood filmmakers once had to pay to achieve a magical winter atmosphere. In the 1930s and 1940s, during the filming of Christmas movies, people made artificial snow from asbestos, completely unaware of its deadly health hazards. Asbestos was cheap, easily available, and created a realistic look of snow, especially under the proper lighting. It did not melt, was fireproof, and easy to use. Only in the 1950s did it become known that asbestos could cause cancer and serious lung diseases if its fibers were inhaled. Share the names of your favorite Christmas and New Year movies in the comments, and we'll continue the movie theme. In 2014, on New Year's Eve in the UK, there occurred an incident in the Home Alone spirit. One man decided to climb into the house through the chimney, but not to cosplay as the world-famous grandfather, but to steal presents and apparently devour the cookies that were left for the real Santa. But the unfortunate man got stuck and could not get out on his own, so people had to call rescuers. There is an organization in the world whose goal it is to report the exact coordinates of where Santa Claus is currently flying. It started with a simple mistake in 1955. A store in Colorado Springs printed a phone number in the newspaper so that children could call Santa, but they got the numbers wrong. Due to a mistake, the children started calling the North American Aerospace Defense Command. Its employees weren't confused and played along with the children, inventing the coordinates. Now, volunteers continue this tradition so you can call Santa and ask what time it is, 9 or 10. Well, happy holidays to everyone. We wish you a joyful celebration, no sacrifices required. Thanks for watching. If you want the next video to come out as soon as possible, consider becoming our sponsor or giving it a like. Both are great. As soon as this video gets 5,000 likes, I'll make the artist draw faster. Believe me, I know many methods. And the next video will come out soon. Have yourself a merry little Christmas. Well, you get it.